Oh shoot, I'm live. I want to first off start this off by saying happy holidays. It is Christmas Eve, and I try to make it a point every other Friday or every Friday or so to jump on here, go live. Like I said, if you've been following my channel for a while now, you know that I don't really do much of the scripted videos or anything like that. I just kind of get on and do what most people would call a rant because if there's something on my mind or something that I just want to say and get out there as information to anybody in sales. I specifically am in real estate. I'm a real estate broker with Wallace Realty Group. And I'm the owner and principal broker. And I just get out here and I want to talk about things that are on my mind, especially as it comes to high probability selling, going for no, things like that. I'm a huge fan of that sales style because it's not pushy and it's something that gets you in and out of the prospects hair, for lack of a better term, um, quickly. And it's something that you don't have to worry about just being a bother and being a huge interruption to anybody. So today, what I want to talk about is prospecting during the holidays. Are you doing that? Will you do that? Are you willing to go out there and bother people during the holidays? Now, keep in mind, I've switched my business a little bit. Typically, what you've probably seen in the past is that I was making a lot of phone calls, and I still do make phone calls, but those phone calls are now starting to shift because I've started to build up quite a database full of potential clients. That those phone calls are now starting to shift more to follow up. But if you don't have that kind of database yet, if you don't have that pipeline, so to speak, full of prospects, you need to be prospecting probably every single day. And during the holidays is a really good opportunity for you to be able to get out there, get your message out there, get your face out there, and show people that you are working and show them that you're serious. So, do I prospect during the holidays? Hell yeah, I prospect during the holidays. Probably not today, probably not tomorrow because it's Christmas Eve and Christmas, and I know that people are out there. But all around the holidays, absolutely, I prospect. Actually, I do it a lot more now because I know that most real estate agents will probably sit back and take the next few weeks off and act as if business just stops. But listen, just like Ricky Caruso says, closings happen every single day. There's probably going to be closings today. There probably will be deals that close today. There will be deals that close on Monday, and there will be deals that close all next week. So if you want to be a part of that group of agents who have deals closing throughout this time, you need to be prospecting during this time. Now, the beauty of high probability selling is that you are not bothering anybody for long. Okay. And when I talk about calls now, I'm mainly talking about cold calls, meaning you're actually walking up to somebody's door, you're knocking on the door, and you're asking if they want to sell their house. There's a couple different ways you can do it around this time. What I like to start doing now is really getting familiar with an area. Now, I'm talking specifically about real estate now, but you can adjust this to any sales that you're doing or anything like that. But typically, what I'll do is around this time, I really try to familiarize myself with an area that I want to work for really the first quarter of the next year. Okay, so how do I do that? Basically, what I'm going to be doing is going out and previewing any active inventory that comes on. If it's not my listing, I'm going to check out another listing from another broker, and I want to make sure that I see all the stuff that's coming on the market because it helps you understand what you can get, what a buyer, potential buyer can get for the money in the area that you want to focus on. All right. So I have an area now where I have buyers that are looking really good area. Houses are between 300 and 700,000. So it's a really good price point, and it's an area where houses sell really fast, no matter what the market is doing. This last couple of years, the market has been absolutely crazy, but in the area that I'm focusing on now, the market is always like that because they're houses that are manageable lots, they're manageable size, and people tend to buy these houses and stay in them for a really long time. And when I say really long time, I mean like people own their houses free and clear in this area. Like they didn't buy it for cash, they stayed there for 30 years and paid off their mortgage. So this is an area where a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's not, it's not worth your time." going out and prospecting there, but it's good to get to know these people and get to know the inventory over there, because when those houses come up for sale, you're going to be the one that they remember because you've gone out and you've talked to them. So if you have an area that's like that in your city, town, wherever you're from, it's definitely good to go find an area like that. Otherwise, find yourself an area. Usually, what drives me to an area is an area that I've worked with buyers in, or I've already sold a property in, and I want to go back to that area and familiarize myself with that. So I'm going to be previewing properties, and when I do preview properties, I will knock on the doors all around that listing, and I'll let people know what I'm doing is I'm looking for a buyer for your neighbor's house. Want to know if you know anybody that's thinking about moving to the neighborhood. And then once they answer that question, usually that's a no. So that's one no that I'll get. After that, I'll ask them if they've thought about selling in the near future. Of course, while I'm there, I might as well try to get a listing too. I'll say, okay, great. Thanks for thinking about it. Well, have you thought about selling in the near future? Because there's a house already on the market, it tends to get people thinking about selling. So this is just another form of basically circle prospecting, but you're doing it at the door. All right. And then once I get through that question, they'll probably say no to that or not right now, and I'll respond accordingly depending on how they respond. But after that, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I add them to my database. And my database is simple. I add people to the MLS and I put them on a neighborhood search for their neighborhood. What's sold, what's active, and it goes out every single month, right out of the MLS. No additional cost, nothing, just right out of the MLS. I set it up and I do it that way. So the question after that is, I'd say, great, thanks for thinking about it. If anything changes, feel free to let me know. By the way, do you want me to keep you updated on the sale? Now, the sale that I'm talking about is the house that's on the market. So I can set them up and get an alert for that. Gives me a reason to follow up. All right. Because then what I'll do is I can give them a call and get their information, email, phone number, get their information, give them a call when it closes. And I can say, hey, that house just sold for whatever, whatever. Did you see it? It had a lot of interest. There's a lot of buyers that we have right now. Have you thought about selling in the near future? I always ask again. When I call them back. Even if they told me no and the house sells in a week, when I call them back next time, I'm going to ask them the exact same question. Hey, there's buyers that are definitely looking in your area. Is this something? You sure you don't want to sell right now? The last time we spoke, you said it would be like a year, maybe two. Has anything changed since then? Now that you see kind of what the market is doing, a couple of extra things you can do. You can also print out a flyer or upload a flyer to your phone. Once you get their email address, you can forward them a flyer for the property, and you can tell them, hey, if you have anybody that's interested, here's the flyer, here's some information on the listing. Feel free to have them reach out to me. When you print a flyer out of the MLS, the beauty of that flyer is, yes, it's going to show the listing agent, it's going to show who's on there, but it's also going to have your information on there. So if anybody's interested in buying, you say, hey, they forward that on, they're going to call that person who's interested in buying is going to call you. I'm not saying that works all the time because I've yet to get a call from one of those flyers that I've sent out or sent to somebody, but it's a good communication starter because it's a good conversation starter. I mean, because what you can do then is get their email address, get their phone number for follow-up. After that, when I say you want me to keep you updated on the sale, I say, great, I'll send you some information on that. And if you want to, and by the way, do you want to stay updated on any other sales in the area? That's what gets them signed up for the neighborhood update tool. I call it the neighborhood update tool, but it's simply an MLS search. It's simply an MLS auto email. Very, very easy, making it simple and making it something that is real estate specific. All right. I always want to be real estate specific. I'm not one to send out recipes and stuff like that just because what's the point, right? Somebody can get a cookbook for that. Somebody can do whatever they want to do for that. But as far as sending out recipes and sending out things like that, I don't care. I'm going to send out real estate specific information. And now that I have their email and phone number from the door, now I can also follow up with them with additional emails, additional text messages, and things like that whenever there is a sale that goes on. Now, that's what I will start doing around the holidays, especially around the slower time when the selling season here in Minnesota is over, because typically around October, November, things do start to slow down, but that's when other agents will also start to slow down. So if you're at the door during this time, it's a little bit colder outside, people see that you're working and you're doing things like that when other people aren't, you are making a positive impression on that potential prospect. Okay. So that's something that you can do. And as a matter of fact, Once I start having these conversations, it's something that I tend to move forward with and start doing year round. I'll continue to preview properties, continue to get into the neighborhood, and continue to knock on doors. And that's a daily practice for me. All right. So to answer the question, do you prospect during the holidays? Yes, I do prospect during the holidays. I prospected all last week. I'm not prospecting today, not prospecting tomorrow, but I will be back out and prospecting all next week and leading into 2022. Why? Because when the spring and summer comes, all the people that I spoke with and all the people that I talked to and got emails about, they have heard from me 2, 3, 4 times now already. And if they decide to sell, who do you think they're going to think of first? That would be me. And all the other agents that have kind of sat back and just kind of started doing more posts and things like that on social media, those are the agents that are going to get forgotten about because I've already had that face-to-face interaction with them. And once you meet with somebody, you've made that impression, you've imprinted yourself in their mind. And if you've handed them a business card and they were willing to give you some information, you know that that's somebody that's going to be willing to at least sit down and have a conversation with you to see if it makes sense for you guys to work together. If it does not, the beauty of it is you have the power to say that it won't work. All right. And you don't have to be afraid to let that business go because you're out there prospecting every single day. And the next person that you speak with is going to be that person that will definitely hire you to sell their house. So listen, that is my rant for today. It's been about, I don't know, 11, 12 minutes here. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. But the one thing that I want to say is don't be afraid. Don't let the people out there say, people aren't going to be home. People are going to think you're crazy. People are going to think you're desperate, prospecting around the holidays. Don't let off the gas. All right. Do not let off the gas. I know you've got goals for the new year. Don't wait to start working towards those goals. Once you start doing this, you'll realize how easy it is, how simple that conversation is. And when you go out there and start having these conversations and start implementing that high probability selling, because that script truly is high probability selling. You're only at the door probably for 90 seconds. It's going to feel like a long time, but you're probably only there for 90 seconds of that person's time. Let them know you want to get out of their face pretty quick, move on to the next. All right. So prospect during the holidays, do it. Get out there and do it. Definitely go do it. If you're calling, call. If you're knocking, knock. If you're mailing, I wouldn't suggest it, but keep mailing. Whatever it is, keep doing it. All right. And then if you do have a pipeline that's built up, a database that's built up, use this time to do some follow up. Definitely continue to follow up during this time. Ask people how they're doing for the holidays. Ask people if there's anything that you can help with. Because as people start making these New Year's resolutions, people don't just talk about health and finances and things like that. Buying and selling homes are something that people think about doing in the year to come. So now is the time to get in front of people and start talking about that. And once they start thinking about that, you want to be that person that they think of first. All right. So if you're a real estate agent in the Twin Cities, check this out. Click the link down in the description and set up some time with me so we can have a informational about joining Wallace Realty Group. I really want to build out my firm into a true sales culture and start to have people out there in the field with me, learning, doing things like this and doing things like this all the time so that you have unlimited opportunities to go for no and use your high probability selling skills and build those skills and build a listing business that you can be proud of, that you can have fun with, and you can get back to living life and stop worrying about paying those bills. All right. So listen, prospect, prospect, prospect. Can't say that enough. Your job is to prospect. If you're in sales, your job is to prospect. That is lead generation. That is business development. Whatever buzzword you want to put on it, you're prospecting. So get out there and go do it.